I'm trying to think. You're the only loud and proud Washington, well, I'm going to say Washington football team for the last time, I guess, fan that I know, like publicly know that's out there running around. But now it's official.
Right.
The Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
Look, I've thought a lot about this. It's not what I would have chosen. It's not what I would have chosen. I wanted Red Hogs because I think the Hogs sort of harken back
awesome.
to it's a different name. It's a little weird, and I feel like it has the red in there, so you still get Hail to the Red Hogs or whatever. And then in addition, again, the Hogs, it's part of Washington football's culture and our history. And so to me, that was what I was voting for. I'd have been fine with Red Wolves. I'd have been fine with Red Tails. You wanted red. You would have needed red. I liked red in there, and I also thought I'd been fine with Washington football team. Like I talked about this. Like I kind of like it's grown on me. Like I sort of like the classic old school nature of it with just the numbers on the helmets, and whether Washington football team or Washington FC, Washington Football Club, which I thought might have been cool.
Would that have confused people though? Like the soccer group would have been like, wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everything confuses people.
That's a great point. We can't worry about that.
You can't. Listen, if you want to try to like explain stuff to people on the internet, you'll spend all day and get nowhere. But what I would say, Beadle, is that I like Commanders better than some of the other options out there. I like it better than like the Presidents or the Armada.
Armada was a much. That was much.
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, you and I have discussed this many times. Like the Bodie McVote faces would have been good.
Of all time.
The
greatest name of all time.
All time. Beadle and I did a podcast, and like literally we did 45 minutes on Bodie McVote face once.
As it deserved, and still does.
As it deserved.
As far as I'm concerned. Like, okay, so some of it was fan submissions, which ballsy move to ever allow fans to do anything, because I'm sure some of the lists that we didn't get to see was mwah. But it was Admirals. You did have some DC Power, like it's kind of weird, like Marvel DC.
Yeah, I don't like any of those, and so Commanders is fine. And I think I mean, so we should break down the name Commanders in a second. Yeah. But just in terms of my reaction, which is what I think you're asking, Beadle, is I think it's fine and it's good. Like, and I'm going to be supportive of the Commanders because it's my team. And I also think, and you probably went through this when you were trying to name this podcast, right? Names are weird. Names are weird, right? I mean, I'm just thinking about it. Like, think back in the day, like the very first day. Let me get this date, Steve Jobs. You want to name this company after a fruit? Or sell computers.
It's like, no, but Apple's it. Well, then Gwyneth Paltrow named a human child Apple. Like, you're right. Names are weird. What does it all mean?
Think about the very first day. They said, I got it. We're going to call it eBay.
eBay.
What's eBay? Wait, like, so it's an electronic bay? What's like, what's eBay? Like, what's eBay? Like, I mean, like, what's a Xerox?
That's true. It's true. Like, names are dumb until they're not.
Right. And I think, everyone was dunking on Washington when they couldn't come up with, quote, a name, and they changed to Washington football team. Everyone was dunking on them for that. And then over 2 years, everyone was like, oh, I kind of like Washington football team. Right? And they got used to it, and they called it the WFT and the whole thing. So
WFTs would have been good.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like on brand, though, that they had the name, got rid of it, took like a temporary sort of interim name, took 18 months or however to quote unquote research. In the meantime, people were like, you know what? Don't hate WFT. It's kind of grown on me, but they're like, no. Then they tease an announcement. Like I was joking about this before. It's not the announcement of who's playing the next Bond. Like, no offense. But like that to me is like, well, I'm setting my alarm and I'm getting up and I'm watching it. It was like, no, February 2nd. Stop whatever you're doing and get online because we're about to. It's like, why did they make such a big deal? You only set yourself up for failure when you just make a spectacle of it. Well, and also because there's so many, they had to get all the legal rights and everything like that. And all that. I mean, that's a question. That's one that I would love to know that we'll never know the answer to. Is did they choose the Commanders
because they thought it was the one that was most popular, the one that was least offensive, the one they felt they could, or was it just the one that they could get? Because there's like, there's all, right? Because there's all these squatters on all these different, domain names and everything like that, and copyrights. And so were they just like, we've decided on the Red Wolves, and there's some internet troll, and there's been articles written about these guys that have like squatted on names for years and years and years and have copyrights on all these things. And I don't want to pay some guy in Alexandria $1 million for the for the name Red Wolves. So what's available?
I mean, we say trolls, but also semi-geniuses. Like they all went buy everything that you can and wait.
Trolls in the patent troll category, not
in the pure sense.
Not in the I'm on a keyboard and I'm
you look fat.
You look right, exactly. Take off your top, whatever.
Oh, which those are the best.
I get that a lot. I'm sure. I don't know if you ever do, but I get
2022, baby. 2022. Exactly. We're all, and by the way, that was me, so you're welcome. Yeah. I just wanted you to feel wanted.
Thank you very much. Next time, use your burner if you could. Add a little bit.
You didn't get.
Just don't make it you. Like
it's like Joe. How about this? The fact that Joe Theismann. Why does Joe Theismann seem to just sort of bumble and fumble? Like why? Why is it? If there's some sort of like, oops, leaked it early, and then you're like, who did it? Oh, it's Joe Theismann. I'm not even surprised. What is the deal?
Athletes should not be on social media
ever.
Just in general. You
know what? I'll say athletes of a certain generation, perhaps, because the young kids, they know what they're doing.
For the most part, yeah. For the most part, they do. But I just when you think about the number of people that have sort of ruined their brand or their reputation or their career because of self-inflicted by social media. I mean, honestly, maybe I'm out of it, but 2 weeks ago, what did you think of Jeff Garcia? You're like, okay, whatever.
I didn't think about him at all.
But if anyone had brought him up to you, you'd have been like, oh yeah, Jeff Garcia, whatever, he's fine.
What's he doing?
Yeah, whatever. What's he up to? Yeah. I had him on a fantasy team a couple of years ago. Whatever, he was fine. Right? And now you're like, well, screw that guy.
Yeah, bro. Right. You picked the by the way, pick the wrong one. You picked the wrong one.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, aside from the fact we both love Mina and Mina's awesome, but forgetting just attacking a participant, like Jimmy Garoppolo's the hill you want to die on.
That's what I'm saying.
Who you attacked, right? Yeah,
And by the way, and I think he also not to go off on it, but I think he picked someone that he thought that he would have public support going after, right? And I'm sure there's always going to be a set of mouth breathers that will follow that fight.
Sure.
But all you can think about, it's cowardly, because I can think of, off the top of my head, 3 loud, screaming, highly paid male talking heads who have never played a sport, who are out there yelling and calling people and personally attacking people sometimes. I didn't hear him go after them. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear any of that. So I'm like, you're kind of chicken, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
he just didn't know. He didn't know Mina was actually respected highly.
Right. By the way, you know who else has never thrown a pass in the NFL? Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, who, by the way, had Jimmy Garoppolo and got rid of him. So just so you know.
Yeah. And the thing is, she wasn't personally attacked. Nothing about it was not professional. It was all it's very Mina. Mina's a genius. She knows what she's talking about. Yeah, that I was like, Jeff Garcia was better yesterday when I forgot about you. You're the worst.
Exactly.
Anyways, I don't know how we got on that.
Right. Well, we talked about Joe Theismann and athletes and just bumbling and this,
social media.
We're in social media. We should just, anyway.
Do you ever have this game and it can only be played with very close friends who you trust highly, but do you ever do that thing, and I've done this numerous times, where you'll be like, let's play a game where I think of one sentence, just one, that I could tweet out or put out right now that would end everything. Just one. and it's it's fascinating because it's sort of terrifying that it's just that easy to pick up your phone and you could kill anything that you've ever built. Oh, yeah. It's gone in a sentence. But yeah, it's a weird, this is a very tempting, dangerous, don't drink and text, or tweet, don't do any of it. Or text, actually. That's never good either.
Right. Or take Ambien. That was right? That was Roseanne's excuse, right? She had taken an Ambien and then she got on Twitter and she killed her career.
I mean,
and she had the
Ambien.
She had the number one show in television. She had literally the number one show in television, and she was off the air a week later.
How?
With one tweet.
Yes, with one tweet.
And by the way, rightfully so. Like, it was an awful tweet. But like, anyway. But back to the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders.
I'm trying. Like, every time you say it, I'm like, okay, process it. But you know the jokes of it, like the commies. That's already started.
Right, of course.
It's perfect.
And you're also starting to think about, like, so what is I should have done this before I logged on, but I've done no research for this pod. Beadle, I've done
neither
no
have
prep
I.
whatsoever.
No.
Well,
that's what pods are, isn't it? That's the whole point.
But here's the thing. I feel like that, again, that's on brand for you.
Totally.
Like, if you came researched up, I'd be like, wait.
Like, what am I going to research? Commander Washington. Nope, got it. Pictures, a lot of images.
This is what I was actually going to look up, and maybe Paige or somebody can behind the scenes can look this up real quick. But what is a commander? I assume it is a rank in our military. I don't know what level rank it is. I think this is me being stupid, right? I am not a military person. I have tremendous respect for our military. It's one of the reasons why I have so much respect for everyone that has served in our military.
Of course.
Or the families of people that have served in our military, because I'm too cowardly to do so. What is, like, I feel like it's naval. Is it?
There are different, I went Wikipedia. That's also in the police ranks. Army and Marine, it's officially applied to the commanding officer of a unit, but naval is the first. Coast Guard, Public Health Service Corps commander is a senior grade officer rank. I don't know what that means. Commander ranks above lieutenant commander and below captain.
All right. So
not bad.
When we take on any of the lieutenant commander teams, we've got them.
Yeah, by rule.
Right, yeah. When the Pittsburgh lieutenant commanders come to town, we've got them.
It's equivalent to the rank of lieutenant colonel in the other uniformed services, which sounds to me like a big deal.
Yeah, sure. Here we go. We're the fighting lieutenant colonels.
My God, you guys you're gonna wipe up this league. Like,
right.
Commanders.
I mean, like, you can already see, like, right, exactly, like, the next time they lose, well, they didn't follow the commands. I guess,
it's rude.
The Cowboys didn't follow all the commands. They ignored the commands and just scored at will.
I just love it. I love everything about it, because it feels on brand. The commies thing already picking up steam feels on brand. Like, the commies, and it's perfect. I love this.